Assalamu alaikum. My name is Salim Siddiqui, and it is November 4th, 2009. I'm dating myself there for a reason, and you're watching the Hot Conflict video series talking about the unseen world. And if you've been watching through the whole series, I gotta, of course, apologize for my singing attempt there in the last video, having a little bit of fun. And we were talking about the concept of Noah and some of these issues. If you're taking this whole matter of the ascension and spirituality and your faith or your heart so seriously, you might have been offended by my singing there, but I hope you weren't, because one of the things that many of us are trying to tell you is that the reason why we're having an easy time to express these thoughts to you and so many people are open to them is because in truth, the reality is the war is already over and the truth has already been made victorious and the light is winning the war. And it is just that most people haven't seen the signs yet and don't realize what's happening yet that is already unavoidable. And so we're going to be talking about a lot of interesting issues going straight into 2012 tonight, talking about first contact and disclosure and a lot of these strange concepts. And if I said, oh, I'm going to talk to you about first contact, when it's going to happen and who's going to be there, and we're talking about aliens and some of these strange concepts, well, then people would say, well, this sounds pretty crazy. Like, you know, I don't like to make predictions or prognostications. I'm not a prophet. I'm not a soothsayer. I'm telling you a simple story so that when you hear this story, you understand why things happened in the past, why things are happening now, and you'll also be able to see why things are going to happen in the future and how they will play out. Now, where we left off was with the prophet Noah, and we're going to go straight into talking about many of the interesting concepts that are leading into the changes in our environment right now and the ascension, and definitely talking about 2012 tonight. I'm hoping that we're going to run through this whole series and get you all the way down to the information, because if I take much longer, already dating myself here, you're going to be seeing everything that I've been talking about before I even get the show on the road here. So, Bismillah, in the name of Allah, we're going to start. Now, before we go on to talk about what happened with Noah, I want to go back a little bit before that and talk about some of the interesting concepts having to do with sacred geometry. To understand this properly, we have to go back to the beginning of duality, or the beginning of life on this planet for the human race, or Adam and Eve. Remember, if you've been paying attention to this series, you really should have gone through the stories of truth, which is the first part of this whole process. And we said this whole journey is about the journey or the process of a path or a light worker or ascension or the understanding or enlightenment. And so we're going back to the beginning of the story, and we said Adam and Eve descended to the earth, but not together. And that one of the things that descended with Adam was what? Now, there are a few different things if you understand this. Now, here's where we like to talk about some strange issues on hotconflict.com, and you hear things from me that you don't hear about anywhere else, especially if you're in the Lightworker community or Wayshower community, or if you're in the UFO disclosure community. Some of the things that I talk about when it relate to Islam is very surprising to people who aren't familiar with the subject. Now, the issue that I'm talking about is with the descent of Adam from the higher realms. He comes with a handful of different things. One of the most well-known objects that Adam descends with from the heavens, or from the higher realms, or from the inner higher realms of the inner earth, depending on how you see the structure at the time, we know is the black stone, what we call the black rock or the black stone. Now, this is very important because this theme occurs in so many different stories, and you see it played out in many different areas. Now, those of you who are interested in the moon landings or UFO or Project Camelot, you know the references to Arthur C. Clarke and the Black Monolith. You know references to it in some of the undisclosed projects, or what they call black book projects, or covert operations, the concept of a black rock or black stone that is having significant properties and supernatural abilities, or coming from a realm that is not of this earth. Now, Adam is said to have brought the black stone with him on his descent. Arthur C. Clarke, 2001, also there in the recent Pleiadian channeled movie called The Knowing with Nicolas Cage. You constantly see the black rock played out there. You can check out that movie if you're interested, since we always talk about pop culture. Lost fans, obviously you know that the black rock is significant to getting towards that process of ascension or going to the next realm. The black rock is what leads you there. Now, in the science fiction or fantasy community, the black stone is normally considered a philosopher's stone, or a stone of deep understanding. So when Adam and Eve land on the earth, they land separately. And then we said they found each other at the center of the earth, what we now call Mecca, or the mother of cities. Now, what is important about this is that if you understand, now many of the people who have been listening to this series have been wanting to talk about the concept of chakras in the body and some of the different spiritual levels. Well, we're going to be talking about it on a whole nother level. Of course, most Muslims don't talk about the chakras of the body, and we're going to get into some of that on this series tonight. But right now I'm talking about the fact that the earth itself is a living being, as we all know, just as everything that the Lord has made is a living being, and the earth itself has chakras. And that Mecca, the holy city, is the heart chakra, or center of the earth. It is where our mother and father, Adam and Eve, were reunited, and it was also there, going way back to the original plan of this planet, of maintaining the light for the faith of those who believe in the light on this planet, that our father Adam built the Kaaba, the holy house, the four-walled cube, and also with it the sacred black stone or black rock. Now, we know that later on we talked about the time of Noah, and that the house of God was destroyed and the black rock was lost. And it'll be interesting, since we're talking about coming disclosure and the fact that brothers and sisters from other realms of the light are going to be joining us in open. Yes, did I just say that? Yes, I did. You heard me correctly. And so many of my brothers and sisters are going to be telling you some interesting stories about what happened with the black rock, the significance of the black stone, and what might have happened to it. But we're going on with what happened with the time of Noah, that we said that after Adam, slowly mankind was pushed deeper into the descent of darkness. And even though there was much interaction with brothers and sisters from the higher realms, we said that we knew that both benevolent and malevolent interaction was going on, because we said a challenge had been made between Lucifer, or Satan, and mankind, that the prime directive of non-interference with the development of man was challenged. And that led to a series of strange events on the earth, culminating in the finale of the earth happening at the time of Noah. And that we know that the earth was destroyed, and many of the civilizations of humans left the earth, and there was interactions at different times. And then, strangely, after Noah, we talked about some of the concepts of water and the ark, and that there's similarities between the time of the flood and the time of the ascension, as we're talking about 2012 and destruction of the earth. But we said we wanted to focus not on calamity and destruction, but what are the deeper, more spiritual meanings behind this, because if you understand the story in context, then you don't fear the destruction or the changes. And the more you understand things in context, and the more you don't fear the changes, the less the fear and the chaos affect the overall vibration and resonance of the earth, and the more smooth sailing we have through the process.